Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we are going to see regarding the concept of CLR parsing technique. Actually, CLR parsing technique is one of the bottom-up parsing technique. So, the abbreviation of CLR parsing technique is canonical left-right parsing. So, in PLR parsing technique, whatever the task we are performing, we will perform the task from left to right. In the name itself, it is written CLR, canonical left-right parsing technique. Here, whatever the input we are having with us, we will process the input from left-hand side to right-hand side. So this is a parsing categorization. LR parser is divided into LR, SLR, LLR, CLR. So in previous videos we have already gone through SLR and LR parsing techniques. So now we are going to see CLR. In the next video I am going to do regarding the concept of LLR parsing technique. So the way of doing the task of LR, SLR, CLR, LLR is quite similar with 80% of similarity among the same. If we know how to do one parsing technique, doing the remaining parsing techniques will be very easy. So this is what categorization. Now let us move to the CLR parsing technique. So CLR parsing technique is a canonical left-right parsing technique. So here the task will be processed from left hand side of the task. So first of all, whatever the input given for you, you have to take, you should call that particular input as a grammar. So whatever the grammar you are having with us, so we have to add that argument grammar for the given grammar. So they will not add argument grammar. We have to add argument grammar by ourselves. So after adding the argument grammar, we can continue the process. So now let us see how to add argument grammar and how to complete the task in a simple steps. So this is what an example I have taken. S tends to capital A, capital A, capital A tends to small a, capital A tends to small b. So here in this example, whatever the grammar given for us, so the following things are we should remember is we have to know what is the meaning of non-terminals and what is the meaning of terminals. So whatever the things, characters which are represented with capital letters are called non-terminals, and what are the characters which are represented in a grammar in a small letters are terminals. And the next one is the left hand side of the grammar, everything is non-terminals only. You can see here capital S, capital A, capital A, like that. So the right hand side of the grammar is a combination of non-terminals and terminals. So we will do this task with a simple steps. In 4 steps I will conclude the CLR parsing mechanism. The step 1 is adding an argument grammar in our input. So here in our grammar, what is the first grammar? Capital S tends to capital A, capital A. Okay, capital S. So what we can do is the argument grammar will start with capital S only. Why? Because the first grammar given a given input is capital S. So argument grammar can be called as a capital S dash tends to dot S, comma dollar. So in this manner we will represent an argument grammar. For example, our grammar is capital M tends to capital M. Capital M means what we will write, capital M dash tends to dot capital M comma dollar. So this is how we will mention a argument grammar. So like that, in the capital S we have kept dot. Like this, whatever the input we are having with us, we have to take the complete input grammar and we have to keep the dots. Capital S tends to dot capital A comma dollar. So this is the dollar symbols we have to keep. Why? Because for capital S grammars I have kept dollar symbols. Why? Because there are no non-terminal symbols like that. So you observe whether there are terminals or not. There are no small letters in the right side of the grammar. So I have represent capital dollar symbol. So next, capital A tends to small a, capital A tends to small b. This capital A complete grammar having two small letters. What are the small a, small b? Means small letters means terminal symbols. So that's why I have written comma a by b. capital A tends to small b, comma a by b. But the reason of writing a by b is in the capital A grammar I am having a two characters called one character is a and one character is b. So that's why I have written a by b. So like that, this is what the first step we have to do. First step is we have to identify what are the non-terminal characters in a given grammar and what are the terminal characters in a given grammar, and adding the argument grammar for our given input grammar. So argument grammar, how we will add is dollar capital S tends capital S dash tends to dot capital S, and whatever the symbol you are writing, that symbol is we have to define. So the next step is we have to move that dot. You can observe here all the dots are there in a left side of our input grammar. So you have to move these dots from this position to end of our grammar. Okay, so this is the step 2. So this step 2 we is going to do by a multiple number of iterations. So these multiple number of iterations we are going to process with an iteration numbers like I0, I1, I2, I3, I4, so on. And another rule is there is no rule that we have to keep a name called I0, I1, I2, I3. You can keep M0, M1, M2, M3, whatever the term you want. So I not state. So closure of I0. What is the I0? First, the first statement is zero statement. What is the first statement? Capital S dash tends to capital S. So that is the first statement. So I have written capital S dash tends to capital S. So now in this first statement I am performing the operation. First I have written input. So this is the first statement I have written. So what I have to do? I have to move that dot symbol. So I have written input. So here after performing my operation capital S dash tends to dot yes I have written, dollar I have written. After completing this input, the thing we have to observe is after dot whether I am having terminal or non-terminal. Means in my terms you can say after dot you are having capital letter or small letter. If you are having a terminal symbol means a small letter, no problem, you can go ahead with the next grammar. But if you have non-terminal means capital letter, you have to write all the grammars which are starting with that particular grammar. So here after dot I am having capital S, so I have to write all the grammars which with capital S. So what are the grammars with capital S for me? Capital S tends to capital A, capital A is the grammar having with me. So that's why I have written capital S tends to capital A, capital A. So why I have written? Because after dot I am having non-terminal symbol. So that's why I have written. So next, whatever the grammar we have written, I have written the complete grammar in I naught state. So I naught means it is an initial state. So whatever the grammars you are having, you are going to write the complete statements. So I1. So what is the thing you are going to do? I1 is first what is the grammar for me? In I naught you are going to write all the states you having with you. So this is actually this is our input. Capital S just tends to capital S. This is the these following statements are our input. So these are all inputs you have written in I0 state. In I1 state, what are the inputs you are having? You are going to take one by one input. So what is the first input for me? Capital S dash tends to capital dot S. So that's why I have taken that input. I1 is equal to go to I naught comma yes. Why I have written go to I naught comma yes means this is a statement yes. So that's why I have written go to I naught comma yes. So capital S dash tends to yes. I have written, I have kept dollar symbol. So capital S dash tends to yes dot I have written. What is the reason for writing is I have moved that dot symbol to one position forward. Like that you have to move your dot to forward to one position until you reach the final input. So how many characters are there in your grammar, and up to that you have to keep on moving. So I1 state is completed. So next, what is the next input for you? Capital S tends to dot capital A capital A. So that is why I am writing go to I0 comma capital S I have to write. So I0 comma capital A. So dot S tends to capital A dot capital A dollar. So here in the same manner what I done in I1 I have done in I2 also. Capital S tends to capital A dot capital A dollar. I have moved dot to one position forward. So here what is the thing happened? So after dot I am having a non-terminal symbol capital A. So our main intention is to avoid non-terminals. So but I am having non-terminal. So what we have to do is write all the grammars which are non-terminals, which are starting with that particular character. So now write all the grammars which are starting with capital A. So capital A tends to small a, capital A tends to small b. So these are the grammars which are starting with me. So you can see capital A. What are the grammars starting with capital A? Capital A tends to small a, capital A tends to small b. So those are the grammars I have written here. Why I have written after dot I am having non-terminal symbol. Okay. Next, go to next. What is the next grammar? Capital A tends to small a, capital A. So I3 tends to capital A tends to small a, capital A, baby. So next, go to small I3, I0 comma small a. I will write capital A tends to small a dot capital A. I have written here. After moving my dot from one position forward, I have to check whether the value I am having is terminal or non-terminal. So here capital A is again a non-terminal symbol for us. So what is the thing we have to do? We have to write a complete grammars which are starting with that particular grammar. So capital A tends to small a, capital A tends to small b. So next is go to I3 comma A. So what is the next grammar I am having? So capital A. This is the last grammar I am having. So we move with go to I3 comma small b. I will write. So to I3 comma small b. So capital A tends to small b dot. This is how you have completed one. So now you observe we gone through this grammar, four grammars we have moved our dot to one position forward. So now you observe what are the grammars incomplete for you. Capital S here you can see I1. I1 I have got dot to final step. I2 in I2 is not got our dot to final step. I2 is incomplete for me. And I3 A dot A here the dot not moved to final point. I3 is incomplete. I4 tends to B dot. So I4 reached final state. So I4 is complete statement. So like that you have to see whether the given inputs are moved to final state or not. So now you leave what are the grammars which you have gone to final state. Now you can take consider what are the grammars have not reached final states. So I2 and I3 are incomplete for me. So now that's why I'm going to write I5 is equal to go to I0 comma capital A. Okay. So capital S tends to capital A dot. So this is what I am going to write. Capital S tends to here I have written capital A dot capital A dollar. Now I am moving this dot to another position. So that's why I got in I5 capital S tends to capital A dot. Dollar symbol is as usual. Next, now I2 is also completed for me. After capital A, after performing this operation, you can observe in I5 state, after dot, I did not have any input for me. So my input is completed. So you can eliminate I2. Why? Because I2 task is completed. So what is the leftover task for me? I3 is incomplete. So I6 tends to go to I3 comma capital A. I am going to write. You can see. Go to I2 comma capital A. So after performing the operation, what is the thing I am going to get is capital A tends to small a capital A dot. Here is small a capital A dot. I2 tends to small a capital A dot. The symbol, whatever the input symbols given for you is as usual A by B. Here you have to write a terms called. So after performing the next step, you can see go to I4 like that. Whatever the inputs you are incomplete, for me I3 incomplete, so that's why I have written here go to I2, go to I3, wherever the tasks are incomplete for me, you have to go to that particular position and you have to complete those tasks. So this is the step 2. So here for a convenient way we can write like capital A tends to mm, dot small a capital A I3 go to I3 comma small a capital A dollar I6 tends to small a capital A. Here in place of dollar I am going to write A by B. Here you are going to write A by B. So here I3 okay. So this is how we are going to write our complete input and we are going to end the task. So now you observe all the grammars have reached to final point or not. So let us observe. So I naught dot came to final point, I1 AA came to final point. First point came to in a I2 state and second point came in a I5 state. This dollar first dot AA over dot B over. Like this you have to perform the step number 2. Next third step is whatever the grammar you are having with you, how you have processed your input. So here you have to draw DFA diagram of your input grammar. Means deterministic finite automata graph you have to draw for your given grammar. So this is an input for me. Capital S tends to capital S, capital S tends to capital A, capital A, capital A tends to small a, capital A, capital A tends to small b. So in this input, what is the first thing I have to do? Capital S dash tends to capital S. So I'm giving arrow mark. So capital S dash tends to S dot I have written. So I1 state. Next capital S tends to capital A dot capital A dollar. So the I2 state I am writing capital S tends to capital A dot capital A dollar. So here I am writing in the arrow mark I am writing SCA. Why? Because I am moving S position in this particular for I1 state. Here capital S tends to dot capital A capital A. It means in this particular I2 state I am moving capital A value. That is why I have written capital A. So capital S tends to capital A dot capital A I have written. So after writing here dot to next to capital A, so now you have to check whether this grammar is having non-terminals or terminals. So capital A is a non-terminal, so we have to write all the grammar starting with that particular capital A. So capital A tends to small a, capital A tends to small b. So this way I have written a grammar. So next grammar is capital A tends to small a capital A. So capital A tends to small a dot capital A. So again after dot I am having capital letter. So write all the grammars with the capital A. So that's why I have written I3. So next in I4, what is the thing? Capital A tends to small b. So I have written capital A tends to small b dot. So now you observe, four grammars are completed. So now you observe what are the grammars are incomplete. Again, I1 as tends to capital S O, it is completed grammar. I4 is completed. So what are incomplete for me? I2 and I3. How I am saying incomplete? In I2, capital S tends to capital A dot capital A. Here the grammar does not reach a final point. So that's why it's incomplete grammar. And in I3, the grammar doesn't not reach a final point. So it is incomplete. So in I2, so next, what is the thing I have to do? I have to move to final point. So capital S tends to capital A dot. I have to write. So that's why I have written here. You can see in I5, capital S tends to capital A dot. Next, I3 is also incomplete for me. So that's why I have to write capital A tends to small a dot. So that's why I have written in I3 small a capital A dot. So now in I2 also some grammars are having with me. What are those? Capital A tends to small capital A tends to small b. So for capital A, it also you have to write A and you have to write small a dot capital A dollar. And what is the next grammar? Small b. So capital A tends to small b dot. So you have to write like this. So next one is, what is the next one I am having? Capital A tends to b. So that's why capital A tends to small b dot. Like this, what are the states I am having? For each and every states I have to write. You can see here for yes, A I have written A, B I have, for all grammars I have written. So no need to write again in I3. Why? Because I have written one time and I will give a loop here. Self loop I will define. So that's why no need to write again. So here in I6 position, if I having here after dot in second position, you can see after cap small a I am having cap dot capital A. So after having small a dot capital A, again I have to write all the grammars with this. Again I have to do this process continuously. So to overcome the repetition of the task, I will use a loop here. So you can use a loop here. So here in I6, some tasks are incomplete for me. So what are the tasks are incomplete? Capital A tends to small a capital A. This capital A is incomplete and capital B is incomplete. So to complete the task, I am writing again I7. Capital A tends to B. So here I7 is repeated in multiple places like I2, I2, I3, I6, I7. So I am giving a loop here for B. For A, I am giving a loop here. And what is the next incomplete for me? Capital A tends to small a capital A. So capital A tends to small a capital A dot. So I am writing this task like this. So now it is a complete grammar. So like this, we have to construct the DFA graph for our input grammar. So the final step after constructing the DFA of our input grammar, we have to draw the parsing tree for our input grammar. So now let's see. So we have to draw the parsing table for our input grammar. While drawing the parsing table of our input grammar, if we are having a DFA with you, it will be very easy for us to complete this table. So that's why I have, whatever the third step we have done, that third step DFA graph I have kept here below to make the task fourth step easy manner. So in the table, whatever we are constructing a parsing table, in the parsing table we are having two columns. First column indicates the three columns. First column indicates the states. Second column indicates what are the terminals you are having. What are the terminals I am having? Small a, b, dollar. And the next column indicates what are the non-terminals I am having. I am having capital S and capital A are the non-terminals I am having. So now let's start the task. So capital S tends to dot capital S. So here, what is the step number one means I naught is moving to the particular position. Capital S tends to dot S. So in a place of S, I am going to write a number 1. So next, capital S tends to capital A. Capital S is moving to capital A in I2 position. So that is why in I I1 you can come to the capital A and write a number 2. So here I have written 2. Actually this 2 will come below A. 1 minute to make the task easy. So these all things comes below A. So why capitalist tends to capital A dot capital A. So that's why in a place of capital A you write a number called 2. In why in a where you have to write means in which position that one process was happened you have to write there. Next capital A tends to dot capital small a capital A. So in I3 so you come to the I3, what is the process you have happened? Dot small a capital A. So in a place of small a you write S3. So here in a place of terminals you are going to write S1, S2, S3, S4 like that. In a place of non-terminals like in a place of S and A you are going to write numbers 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. Okay. So next in play in I3 I have done operation called S3 and capital A tends to small b also I have done here in I3. So that is why I am going to write S4 also. Next in I4 capital tends to small b. So in I4 you write S4. Okay. So in I4 capital tends to small b. So here the grammar reached to final point, isn't it? So that is why this I4 task is completed. So you have to write R3, R3, R3. Means it is a third input for me. First input is R1, second input is R2, third input is R3. Like that. You have to give numbering like that. The final input is R3. Next, what is the next grammar? Capital S tends to capital A, capital A. So here I5, come to the state I5. What is the task happen for me? Capital A, capital A. The input is completed for me. So you am going to write term called R1. Next in I6. So what is the thing you are doing? You are moving that A value to next position. So that's why you have written S6. So A value I moved, I have moved B value, I have moved all operations I have done in I6. A operation I have done, B operation I have done. So that is why I have written S6, S7, two tasks I have run. And you have done for capital A also in I6. So I have written 6, 7, 8. I have written number 8 here in A. So in A I have written, next I have written B also operation. So that is why I have written number 9 here in I6. So capital A tends to small a capital A. So in I8 you can see your grammar moved to final point. So that's why I have written R2 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 means our input came to the final position. So that's why I have written R2 R2 R2. So in I9, so what is the final one you are having? Capital A tends to small a capital A. So in this input, your grammar reached to final point. So that's why I have written R2. So after writing this all complete, so whenever you have written complete input is satisfied with this given table, all fields were fixed properly, aligned properly, then you can conclude this particular table as accept. Where you have to write accept means in I1 position in a place of dollar you have to mention accept. So most probably for all the grammars whatever you are taken 99% you are going to get accept only. So in this manner you are going to construct the concept of CLR parsing table with these four steps. So if you remind these four steps, you can perform this task very easily.